There is no hiding from reality tonight. One of two things is going to happen. Here at Blacktown Football Park, one team will either extend their lead on top of the ladder and in tandem likely put their opposition at the foot. Or the inverse will happen. One team will lift themselves from the foot of the ladder and in tandem burst open Blacktown's title race in a way that will send shockwaves through the competition. Welcome to the bona fide home of football in Western Sydney, at a ground where anything is possible, whether that be comebacks, upsets, blowouts, you name it. Top of the table, Marayong FC are considered the home side despite this being a neutral venue. They take on Quakers Hill Tigers, who are one of two teams to have claimed a singular point after the opening quarter of the season. The thought of the impact of a slip-up is quickly creeping up on all teams, no matter where they sit on the table. And while today may not decide who wins a title or who gets relegated, only a fool would suggest that each game isn't going to have an impact of some sort. This here tonight, like no other. My name is Mark DePoli. The Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 1 may just be displaying the greatest quality of football that this district has seen in its 46 long years. So tonight, join me for the ride. Set yourself up for the FA Cup style, as Marayong hosts Quakers Hill Tigers in a game that promises many, many goals. We're just waiting for the teams to make their way out into the middle. It was a slightly run-over-time reserve-grade match where, in fact, the Tigers boys went down 3-0 to Marayong. But it was a highly, highly entertaining match. And when we do start to see those boys appear in the tunnels, we'll go through the lineups. Thank you very much to those who have tuned in tonight. A 7 p.m. kickoff here at Blacktown Football Park, part of the changing schedule that is afoot this year. Not going to as many grounds as we have in years gone by. Lots of games being played at this neutral venue. It's been fantastic. We've had Friday night games, Saturday night games. As the clock ticks over to 7 o'clock, I believe we should go through the lineups right now. We'll start with the team considered the away side, despite this being a neutral venue. And by the way, the away side picked up a 4-3 win in one of the most crazy 21s games, a two-time grand final replay. So, if they need to conjure anything, it's the spirit of the 21s. In goal begins Jared Bergen, who is only making his second match of the round appearance. The 24-year-old, into his second year at the club as well, has usurped Ben Marsh. It's a back five from right to left. That reads Braden Shields in the 22 jersey, then going through the three centre-backs. Tim Gentle makes his match of the round debut, the 39-year-old wearing the 39 jersey, who's been promoted up through the 35s. In the middle of the defensive five is a man known as Braden Chapman. The last time he featured on a match of the round/live game was in the 21's grand final we were just momentarily ago talking about, where he saved a penalty as a makeshift goalkeeper. At the left side of centre-back is the man in the number 40 jersey. It's Jason Grimer, into his 16th year at the club. And at left-back, in his first match of the round, not wearing Pond's colours, and into his third different Blacktown club, it is the one and only Scott Jackson, still doing his thing at 36 years old. He's also second place as Tigers' highest points scorers this year. At the base of the midfield is a man with one goal to his name and making his first Blacktown podcast appearance in midweek. It's Aaron Blacker, the 21-year-old, into his 17th year at the club. He's got two midfielders ahead of him who have also come from the birth of the 21s, namely Nicholas Magias in the 49 jersey, and Riley Salkeld. The latter, of course, scored a year ago in the grand final. At the top of the midfield diamond happens to be Scott Whalen. This is a very, very narrow midfield. The depth will have to come from the wingers in Braden Shields and Scotty Jackson. We don't know too much about Scotty Whalen. It's his first match of the round appearance, but we know he is 24 years old and is returning from a long stint playing through Nepean's youth and eventually senior system. At the top of the Tigers' attack, it's a man with 2 goals to his name, and it's one of the highest point scorers in terms of referees' votes in the entire league. Elvis Enchi, who joined from St Pat's in the PL2 in the off-season, has been a real hit up top. So that's how it reads. It's a 5-1-2-2. If you like, there are 5 defenders, there are 3 midfielders. There's a 10 as well if you want to count, but he might play more like a striker, I'm not sure. And then Elvis Enchi up top. But the main thing is it's a back 5. The team that will be testing that back five and its strength will be Marayong, of course. Oscar Osei retains his position in goal. It's a back four that reads the exact same way that Marayong's did when they beat the Blacktown Workers 5-2 in the last match of the round. Of course, Dylan Arusu will play as a centre-back, the 28-year-old All-Star representative, now the coach of the 21s, of course. Josh Ross will be playing as one of the fullbacks. Dante Suarez will be the other fullback. And Nathan Samatua, the 36-year-old bright spark All-Star representative himself, is going to feature as well in that back line. Has been ultra awesome since Wal Reese got injured and hasn't been able to feature. The only change to the lineup that versed Blacktown Workers a couple of weeks ago is Ayman Abdul-Rasul dropping out because Ryan Bowler-Colborn is not at a wedding today. He returns to the midfield alongside Mubi Saeed, who was sent off in that match but has been back since the one-game suspension. And at the top of the midfield should be Paddy Halaka, who picked up his first and second match of the round goals and has picked up one the week after, so he's been feeling pretty good and informed, the number 16. Ethan Kerrick and Michael Cody are the two wingers who play on either side of Michael Osei Adomako. It's a frightening front three. If you consider Halaka as the front four, it's a frightening front four as well. In fact, let me just scrap all that. It's a pretty frightening team all round. So, while I've been able to stretch out the lineup reading for more than 3 minutes, finally it looks like we're going to get this game underway because the boys are making their way out into the middle, what looks to be like in any second. Mario Tedone, of course, will be your centre referee, if you want to be accurate to the pronunciation. Tedone, of course, of an Italian background, making his way out into the middle as he leads Lockie Baker and Darren Glovey Glover. Here they come. Tigers equal with Polonia on 1 point from the first 6 games of the season. Marayong have got maximum points. 6 times 3 is 18. That's what they sit on. They're wanting 18 to become 21 in Game 7. It is a frightening team. It is a frightening team. With a back five that's been captained, of course, by Scotty Jackson, only into his first year of the club, but already donning the captain's armband, especially because, of course, the absence of Brandon Kemp, who busted his knee open 18 months ago and has barely been able to recover since then, is can they keep this Marayong outfit out of their goal mouth? That is the ultimate question. Can their fast players on the counter-attack then launch goal-scoring opportunities? Marayong are expected to dominate the ball. They're expected to dominate the territory, of course. But can Tigers, to be colloquial, G themselves up? That's what it's going to take to keep this team out. They're going to need to fire each other up. They talked on the podcast in midweek, especially that of their captain, Scotty Jackson, talked about just rousing on each other and just needing to keep the energy nice and high, be critical but be fair, and keep it tight. Can the Tigers do that? It is a very different first grade team to the ones that you've been used to in the years gone by in the first couple of years of this match of the round system that we put out some half a decade ago. Very different team. In fact, the only player in Tigers' starting lineup that played in the Tigers' last match of the round game that I commentated, which was the Quakers Hill Derby, the only remaining player is Jared Bergen. Would you believe that? Some other players that were on the field that day include Ejaz Miskin, reserve grade now. Blessings Matsveru, who's 31 years old now. He's off the bench, preferred tonight. Mitchell McClellan doesn't play here anymore. Kieran O'Hanlon and Billy Seck preferred off the bench. Of course, you know about Byron Grandemage. He's at a different club now. It is a completely different team with a completely different system. And perhaps it's Marayong's ability to retain and keep their best that keeps them at the top of the table. It's a tough task. But it's yet to be seen how it's going to go. Of course, you might have noticed that the big omission for Marayong is the 2-time reigning Player of the Year. Kelvin Ofori tweaked a hamstring last week in the 2-0 win over Quakers Juniors, that being the arch local rival of Quakers Tigers. He's actually here watching along today. There's word on the street that he might actually come up for a little interview after halftime. So keep your volume on when we do go into the time between the two stanzas. Once again, thanks very much for being here. If you're new to the Match of Their Own system, remember that we do like to keep a tab on the comments that are left on our live chat, both Facebook and YouTube. I'll keep my eye on it, keeping it respectful. Let us know some of the results that have come through around the grounds. My head goes straight to Blake Curry, who helped dunk on Oakville this afternoon, a 5-3 win where he scored 4 of those goals. And hey, by the way, Blake Curry is currently leading the votes in the PL2 Player of the Year ladder. Underway, finally we are, just the 6 or so minutes, 7 in fact, after we were meant to kick off. This is how this Marayong team set up, and this is how this Tigers team set up, as Scott Jackson comes straight into the frame to put one on his oppressor. Baller Colborne gets on the ball for Marayong, and straight away it is the boys in green putting their foot on the ball. So many new faces of the Tigers to learn tonight, but the great thing about tonight is the amount of players we've got here who have come from reserves and 21s to support the Tigers boys. It's one of the great things about this club. The camaraderie is unreal. Can it help them forge an upset? Long goes Samatua, past Jackson, picked up there at the base of the midfield by Aaron Blacker, the number 6 in the number 6 position. Throw in for that of those in orange, says Mario Tedone, the centre referee tonight. Consecutive free kicks. That one was for a foul on Enchi, it does seem. Scotty Jackson, left-footed, of course, standing over this one. Spent heaps of time as a youth at Marayong, his boyhood club. In fact, to be specific, he spent 8 years there, 8 seasons to be exact. Back this goes to Samatua, that free kick eventually amounting to nothing. Colborne steps in. And so far it's Tigers who have adjusted to the speed of the game and its intensity quicker. Enchi back to goal. Majias puts his foot on the ball. Up from 21s, just 21 years old now, delivered in by Shields. Owusu was strong on Scotty Whalen there. Oscar Osei, nicknamed Onana, will put it wide to his captain and defender, Dylan Owusu, who tonight wears the armband because, of course, the absence of Kelvin Ofori. Sent forward Samatua. So it looks like out of nowhere, a late change. Ayman Abdul Rasul, I think that was the name that I've just heard called by one of the players out there. So I'm not sure who Ayman Abdul Rasul has come in for, but it looks like a change to the front line. Well, a huge moment in the match of the round. Who has dropped out? Is it Mubarak Saeed? I do believe it might be Mubarak Saeed. So here is 18-year-old Ayman Abdul Rasul starting in another match of the round. Offside flag will be raised here in Marayong's first attempt at coming forward in the game. Big talking point. Two of their most creative midfielders forced to the bench, it seems. Gotta love some match of the round drama. And you never know, you just never know who Marayong will start. Although, a chance down the far side for this ball to be delivered in. And really good defending in the end by Tigers. So Marayong have their first corner. Ayman Abdul Rasul currently standing on where the goalkeeper should be, tying up his shoelace at the moment. Big moment here defensively. Left-footed ball about to be swung inwards, one hand raised. Poor ball towards the front post, off the base of the post though. My word, it should have been cleared by the Oranges. And away it's been sent. Enchi tasked with closing down Samatua. Back it goes to Oscar Osei, who might just be the best goalkeeper in the league with the ball at his feet. and sent away, but just about. Tigers with a really great press early on in this game. How long can they maintain it? Throw in it'll be. Flicked backwards rather than forwards as Tim Gentle gets his head and puts it into touch. Suarez. We'll see Adomako beaten to the ball. In fact, no, it is Michael Cody who has dropped out. So that's Mubarak Saeed playing as the right winger. Ethan Kerrick at the top of the midfield. Haloka looks to be one of the attackers too. That's a big moment in the match of the round. Michael Cody, who has been brilliant all season, picked up a free kick in the match of the round, of course, against Workers to cap off a brilliant performance. Dante Suarez beaten to it there by Shields, I do believe. In fact, it was the hard running of Scotty Whalen. Been impressed with the number 8's tenacity so far, backed by Owusu. All the way to fellow Ghanaian blood in Oscar Osei. Colborne under duress, dealt with it really well. Samatua forward, up the line, bounced back by the number 11 Mubarak Saeed, whose younger brother is now playing in the reserve grade in 21s as well. This should be sent behind towards Kerrick. It wasn't. Majaya sends it out wide. And rush they do down this near side. Whalen, again, closing down Owusu. Someone's lost a shin pad in the process as well. Back this goes to Owusu by the touchline. Can they keep their steel and their nerves? Dante Suarez. Crossed across the face of goal. Striving out of defence is Samatua being closed down by Enchi. Should be cleared by Braden Chapman, and it is. Father, one of the BDSFA referees. It's a pretty common, well-known name in this part of the footballing world. Delivered with a gigantic throw-in into the box, should be cleared, and it is by Tigers, but it is going to be a throw-in. I should say corner, forgive me. The second corner of the evening, both of them are coming green. This one will be an outswinger. Some big bodies from both sides that need to be really locked in here, especially if you're a Tiger. Towards the front post again. It hit Ethan Kerrick in the midriff, it seemed. The number 14 went and hunched over straight away. Dogged defensive work by Mubarak Saeed, who's played everywhere across midfield, attack and defence in the last couple of seasons. Sent out wide towards Holoka, well read there defensively. Owusu stepped in, that's a term we usually use for him, and Scott Jackson sends it away. And it's a foot race, and Enchi is right there, and he's tearing down on goal. And it goes out for a throw. I've been really impressed by Tigers in the opening minutes of the game. 10 minutes has already flown on by. Delivered into the box with a gigantic throw. Thought there might have been a hand involved there. In the end, Aaron Blacker picks it up past Osei Adomako. There is Scotty Jackson, has one match of the round goal and one match of the round assist to his name. One of them was against, the goal was against Quakers Juniors. The assist was against Marayong here in Taylor Hunter's 300th game for Ponds. Out of defence come the Tigers. Pass towards Enchi. There's a chance here for Whalen running him behind. Now they're going to find him. Second time of asking. Continued on his run. Owusu almost looked like he was bodied there for once. In the end, it should just and will just be a goal kick. Tigers are appealing. They're not going to get what they want. And away they play. Short options only ever for Marayong, especially in these early parts of the game. You'd be subbed off straight away if you were to play a long ball, I imagine. lack of a press now. Easily done. All the way back by Chapman to Jared Bergen. Match of the round debut last year. Colborne was beaten to it. There's a slip there by Abdul Rasul, I do believe. Good footwork there by Dante Suarez. Brilliant stuff. Geez, that's entertaining. By the left back of Marayong. Samatua, 36 and still a spring chicken. Gets it under control. Sends it out wide to Joshua Ross, formerly of Ponds, formerly of Spartans. He's used to wearing orange and playing at Blacktown Football Park instead of competing against an orange team at this very venue. So the first referee real intervention in the game. A whistle's been blown, but for what reason? A player's being called over. Was it Scott Jackson? What's he done? Was a mascot for his beloved Bulldogs in 2004 before they went on to win the premiership. Some have actually suggested that it was his influence that day as a mascot that helped them beat the Roosters in the final. Throw-in taken long by Joshua Ross, flicked on there towards Osei Adomako and sent away by Braden Chapman. Stepping in here is Braden Chapman. I only know him as a goalkeeper. Great to see him play out of midfield here today. I should say defence, forgive me. A couple of big challenges coming in there. Enchi beaten to it by Owusu. So interesting to see how St. Pat's former frontman can adjust to PL1 this year. Well, he's picked up 2 goals and he's their highest points scorer from referees' votes. In the number 30 jersey, Suarez, great body feint, but then got his touch wrong. And someone's gone down here in a real heap. I think it might be Braden Shields. It is in the 22 jersey. He was just duped the wrong way there, and it's hurt him. He's landed awkwardly, perhaps, on this rough old pitch. Let's have a look-see at what happened on my replay. Something's gone wrong in the way he's twisted there, and it's always the ones that don't look like much that end up being the most concerning ones. And straight away, now while there is some great depth on the bench, especially in these fullback positions, straight away the concern for the right wing back, Braden Shields, who's been up around the top areas of the pitch already in the opening moments of the game. He's in a world of hurt. Something is not feeling right. I've got a feeling his night might be over. Blessings Jvikon Borero Matsveru is the obvious like-for-like change. 2-time right back of the year in PL2. Now, this is not spelling good things. This is really, really unfortunate. And again, it might not look like much, but the reaction right now says all. Such an unfortunate moment for young Braden Shields, just 22 years old in the 22 jersey. The Tigers have been something of a cursed team when it comes to injuries in the last couple of years. Their captain has dropped out. Brandon Kemper is, of course, the physio acting right now. This is going to be the end of the night for Braden Shields, who's currently being helped by his former 21s captain and club captain to the sideline. Luckily, there's a whole host of Tigers boys just over the fence. We're going to assist in this process now. But the night done, and it looks like Blessings Matsveru will end up facing one of his own tonight. There is, of course, a Matsveru on the bench for that of Marayong, Kudak Washe, who might come off the bench a little bit later. Here he comes himself, the Zimbabwean king, self-titled, into his 14th year representing this great club. Receives a high five on the way in. Match of the round regular. Picked up the number 7 jersey taken off of him. Taken off of Byron, I should say. To the end of the night for Braden Shields, and likely a long-term injury. Such an unfortunate one. The other one I was going to mention as well, besides their captain Brendan Kemp, is of course Ryan Williams, but he's back among the reserve grade lineup this year, who horrendously in last year's semi-final, horrendously broke the tibia and fibia which is the two bones that go through your lower leg below the knee. Scott Jackson beaten in the air, then Mubarak Saeed closing down on Grimer, who's done quite well, the young lad, but then he's been beaten to it, and Mubi got that pretty horrendously wrong, that cross. Well, under the tutelage of a former professional footballer, you can expect Tigers to be playing out from the back. That they do. It nearly came to their undoing, though, as the press of Marayong came in. Enchi closing down Owusu. I've been told that the Michael Cody omission from the starting lineup is due to a bit of tightness. Where exactly on his body, I'm not sure. Ayman Abdul Rasul in. Wonder how much he played in the 21s today, just 18 years old. Picked up a match of the round assist to go with his match of the round goal. What a player he is. He's got 4 votes. 4 votes in the referee's play of the year. What a ball in the middle! From absolutely nothing, Marayong whip in a cherry of a ball and easily tapped home. Look at this on replay by Haloka. Delivers it in absolutely perfectly, and he finds his strike buddy, Michael Osei Adomako, who picks up back-to-back match of the round goals, and it's now his 3rd consecutive scoring match. Goal number 8 for the season, goal number 7 in the league. And that's actually, obviously, without going to any other results that might have happened today in PL1, that's going to put him top of the lot. He goes ahead of the rest in the Golden Boot race. Big, big moment in the match of the round. Bosch in the back of the net, just like that. What a ball by Haloka. Unbelievably good football. Why he was in a wide position, I don't know. Suarez comes forward. Mubarak Saeed. Suarez continuing on his run. Cleared, I believe, by Grimer. Delivered in again. Haloka this time on the receiving end of the cross. Doing his best, the former Glenwood-based Golden Boot winner, to open up a chance. Mubarak Saeed on Scott Jackson. Mubi Saeed! What a save by Bergen. Probably a bit hyperbolic. It should have been saved by Bergen. It was slapped out wide. Down quickly to his right. Well, Michael Osei Adomako, when he's not playing football, is a mental health advocate and runs a business where players play 5-a-side with conversations about mental health very frequently at the centre of their matches. It's meant to be a feel-good thing. But when he decides to move away from the importance of conversations like that, this guy turns into a real headache for defenders. His attack positioning might be one of the best in the league, and that's why he's moving out in front in that Golden Boot race. A ball to be delivered in again. Outswinger again, Owusu, that was cleared by Tim Gentle. Nothing gentle about that as he continued on his run, though. Can't believe that guy was playing over 35s. That poor 35s comp dominated by this guy, it seems, but given away on cue. Osei Adomako, Ayman Abdul Rasul. Great challenge in the end. Confirmation, he now goes equal with Fardod Sanjakani from Pons, 7 each. Cleared away, Tigers. Anywhere will do at the moment. Down that far side, dancing with the ball, delivered in. Danger not cleared. Kerrick, I think, got it wrong. In fact, it was Josh Ross in a nosebleed section. So when taken long by Josh Ross, Scott Jackson got a foot in there, but this might trickle out all the way for another corner. It is. Tigers under the pump the first 8 minutes or so where they were levelling them with the press. Well, that we're levelling has seemed to come to their detriment now. They are struggling to deal with this machine. The green machine have their 5th corner of the game. Ball delivered in. Best one of the day so far. Cleared, gentle. Owusu thought about the spectacular. Beaten Salkeld. Ball delivered back in again. Looping this time. Bergen cleared. Owusu! Ooh, Eastern Road. You have a football. It almost hits a G-Wagon on the way through too. That would have improved its looks. I have to say it's unfortunate for Tigers, of course, the goal against them coming after they were forced into a change. Not to say that Blessings, Jvikombarero, Matveru is anything to do with the issues at hand for that goal. But when you're forced into a change, especially in the back line, it can be so frustrating mentally. And just like that, 22 minutes have been played in an absolute flash. Header away, Joshua Ross. Jackson and Ross played together in Ponds for that one season. Ball sent out wide. Blessings Matveru hasn't touched the ball all afternoon. Now he's finally into it. Oh, and a slap to the face on Kerrick. Oh, Matveru won't be happy with that one, but Kerrick, hurt or not, was able to sell it well. Got a feel for the likes of Taron Rockall, the coach, of course, of the WPL, the 21s, the reserve grade, and the first grade. She's watched her Tigers win the 21s, of course, but the reserve grade went down, and a call that goes against you like that can just build the frustrations up. The super coach, of course. Played short, Owusu, here to Suarez. Gentle was in strong on Jose Adomako. Abdul Rasul leaves it, gets it back from Samatua, then gives it back to the flying Fijian. Braden Chapman was blocked off, was lucky that Holoka's touch went wayward from the green man. Matveru did well along Kerrick. It'll be a great foot race, especially when they both hit top speed. Scott Whalen needs to see more of the number 8 on the ball because he's been quite good to watch when on it. Jackson leads the press out here and wins the ball back and steps in strong. Absolutely smashes Mubarak Saeed. Floored him and receives a yellow. That's Premier League football for you. It's his second yellow of the season. Mubi is feeling the burn there. Look at that. Absolutely floored right in front of Marayong's coach. Knew it that he was going to get a yellow card, but he will be skating on thin ice for the rest of the game, but just had to lay a hit on a man who once or twice in this game has looked like getting past him. Mubi's going to be all right. But that was a huge hit in the match of the round, and if I'm allowed to make another highlights package at the start of next year, I'd be using that moment right there. Hopefully you're all right, Mubi. The answer seems to be yes. And now I can tell you that I absolutely love to see it. Ball played short. Like that just raised the tempers a little bit in this one. This old grudge match it's becoming. What a ball forward by Owusu. In the end, overhit. The idea was nice. We'll be missing the presence of Kelvin Ofori, of course. But they do have some pretty great players who can replace him. Kelvin Ofori missed both match of the round so far this season. He's avoiding us. Right, the first time Tigers have come forward in a hot while. Owusu on Enchi. Back it goes to Matsveru. The Botswana African Cup captain sends it inside, receives a 1-2. Back to Gentle, who started this press forward. I think that's Majias. Beaten Suarez, who then wins it back, clears on his weak foot. Osei Adomako, the goal scorer today. Handball was the claim. Forward comes Majias, the 21-year-old, caught by Suarez. Blacker sends it forward. Great reading there by Samatua. Haloka. Jackson takes a tumble there in the slippery old Blacktown Field 1. Tigers it'll be. I think he's receiving it. Tigers captain to no end in front of the technical area. So Scotty will send this forward. One of the longest serving players at Premier League level in its entire history. 10 straight grand finals as well. That might potentially come to an end this year. It's yet to be seen. Tigers will need to turn around their season, much like Adelaide United did 10 years ago. If you want to go into A-League terms, forward, strides, Dante Suarez, past Matsveru. Gentle did really well. '39-year-old Tim Gentle been really solid out the back for Tigers. Majias. Stepping in was Ayman Abdul-Rasul. Great feet there. Well, he is half Spanish, he tells me. And the technical ability of a typical Spanish midfielder was on display there. Really good sliding challenge by Blacker. Launched it forward, but only as far as his opposite number 6. Dante Suarez. Left-footed ball in, clearly his weaker side. Should be cleared there by Grimer. It is. Samatua forward back to Ayman Abdul-Rasul. Not today wearing the number 7, but instead the 48. There is Mubarak Saeed. Still Saeed. It'll come here towards Dante Suarez. Doesn't want the shot the first time. Still trying to tear down into the box. Retains possession. Goes back outside the 18. Will deliver a flat, short pass to Ayman Abdul-Rasul. Square here. Great turn by Osei Adomako. Samatua. Not really as much in his vernacular, those killer passes. Colborne forward, Gentle stepped in. Up in the air though. There's a little touch by Kerrick on Majias there. And the grab at the face was enough on the man who grabbed his face no more than 10 minutes ago to win a foul. 30 minutes into this one, you can say that the ascendancy on the scoreboard and in momentum is with those Marayong boys who are currently right now looking at 7 from 7 and 21 points in first grade. As they chase down a 4th straight and what would be a record 4th club championship since they became a shield that was counted. Osei Adomako with Haloka to aim for in the box. Can actually get up quite high for a header. Can Haloka as Matsveru beaten to it. All hands on deck, bar Elvis Enchi for Tigers, who are sitting in hard here. Suarez, off the back of Majias. Lovely footwork by the auxiliary left back. Been told that Gabriel de Oliveira's days as a Marayong are over. That injury that he got 2 years ago, post-grand final, has never really healed for him. He's now about to hit 40 years old as well. As Josh Ross from distance never looked like it was going to trouble Jared Bergen in goal. But in the same breath, speaking of some of the more senior and beloved figures of the Blacktown Premier League, I should use this moment, especially in a time where there's lots of viewers right now, to give our best wishes to Ryan Marchant of Quakers Hill Juniors, who landed awkwardly against Marayong last week on one of his knees. It buckled and buckled badly, and I've been told his season is over. One of the nicest guys I've come across. And a really, really solid player too. Such a shame to see him gone. But thank you for your recent services, and we hope, I know that you're at a pretty twilight stage of your Premier League representative career, but I hope we get to see you again. Matthias from distance, never, like Josh Ross, never really looked like it was going in. Lots of love coming in from our live chat in specific reference to Scotty Jackson's yellow card challenge on Mubarak Saeed. Plenty of love for it. Game's gone, some might say. No, it's not. He's bringing it back. Lovely footwork, but then well read by Grimer, I do believe. Chapman out of the defence. It was Halokka get there first. Bergen read it well. Beaten in the air by Enchi was Owusu, and now in behind Scotty Whalen, and then Oscar Osei read it well. Such a good goalkeeper. And how's that for a throw? Owusu will move into contention for one of the best defenders of the year as a centre-back. Kerrick, who was once one of the fastest kids in the state for his age, sends it across the face of goal. Mubi Saeed, right on the edge of the 18-yard box, being hounded by Grimer, out wide. And could they line up a shot to Abdul Rasul? Over. But what a bit of play there by the Marayong machine. Look at this, Kerrick tearing down the near side with real haste. Actually really good defending by Grimer to actually hold up Mubi Saeed, and then Ayman Abdul Rasul just about got it over. Reminder as well, in this quiet time right now, please remember to leave a like on the YouTube and or Facebook stream so that we have an indication of how much you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, the games that you're seeing. Let us know that you appreciate the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League by giving us a like, please. That small bit of effort makes all of this effort that goes into giving you these streams worth it. I ask kindly, kindly, kindly. You've been so kind to our podcast this year. Views are up an average of 150 and likes are up an average of 10 per week. So please, if you can keep our live streams in the algorithm, that means more people can watch it, more attention comes onto it, and the more players that want to come play here next year. Scotty Jackson, ball above his head, ready to take this throw. Good throw, and then not well read, I think, by Sal Keld. Bye-bye, says Owusu. Surely offside was Osei Adomako. Majias miscontrolled. Suarez passed him well. Ayman Abdul Rasul came the closest so far since the goal. What a ball! Delivered in Mubarak Saeed. And this is an excellent ball across the face of goal. But no Marayongers were there. Halokka's starting position was far too deep. Enchi now So many players around Elvis. Mats Veru continues on his run and sends it away. Does Dante Suarez. As the rain's coming in here at Blacktown Football Park. I don't think anybody actually expected that, and we're losing a whole bunch of audience to the shaded section. How might that impact what's happening out there? Enchi could go down. What a layoff there it could be! And the sliding challenge evaded as it was cleared by Samatua. Scotty Jackson should win that one. He misread it in the air. Cleared Samatua. A little bit unconvincing, but then picked up well read by Josh Ross. 1-2 with Baller Colborne. That's why I called him 3 years ago my favourite player in the league. Just does the simple stuff right. It was on a podcast on Duckman TV, it was, by the way. I was asked who's my favourite player, and I said Ryan Baller Colborne. 35 minutes played in what's been a frantic and fast first half. Look at the amount of space in this Tigers midfield. It's criminal. And forward come Marayong again. Ball delivered in, blocked by Scotty Jackson. Surely you cannot allow the industry of Marayong's midfield to have that much time and space. Halaka down, but there could be a Marayong coming in here. It's Osei Adomako. Saeed was there too. Picked up there by Grimer. Just a kid on his apprentice carpenter duties when he's not playing football. Needs to step up here in the match of the round. Throw in, but for who? Tigers. So they have some territory up on that far side in this Marayong defensive fifth, I would say. Delivered in. Was he offside? They were looking for the flag. It never came. In fact, now it will come. Suarez, I thought he was going to be under duress there, but he's too cool, calm and collected. But his pass was poor, though. Out of defence, Riley Salkeld. Rain still falling down here. Scotty Jackson making the run in behind. Can they find him? The marauding left back. Forward ball delivered in. Blocked off at the first time of asking by Ross. Those two used to go band for band as fullback for Pons. Now they're competing against each other. Neither of them representing Pons. Ooh, pot shot! Ooh, a save in the rain. Kept his head and his hands clean. Don't mind that, you know. Don't mind that at all. Look at that for a punt. Were they ready for that? Gentle being closed down by Kerrick. Surely he's fouled him. He has, and he missed it anyway. I'd be giving a yellow for that. He probably would have had his number, the former sprinter. Versing a 39-year-old man, he probably would have had him. And that's a poor bit of decision-making by him there. Lumped forward. Enchi beaten to it. Samatua Owusu just using his body and frame so well. Although in this moment, he's given it away. But he's quick to recover against Mats Veru. Blacker, fortuitous. Mats Veru in there. Blacker still with the ball somehow. In fact, it was the whole time it was Salkeld. This is Blacker here now. Poor by Gentle. Really, really dangerous giveaway there. Perhaps it could prove to be. Kerrick sent it out wide. Blocked by Jackson. Clean tackle there by Grimer. Been really impressed with this kid's work rate. And forward he still comes. Jason Grimer! My words, it was always going over. But what a run it was. Turned into prime Leo just then. Look at this. from the semicircle almost. In fact, even deeper than that, stepped in, took it off Carrick, and off he went, and no one was catching him. Bang! And just a bit over. But hey, don't mind that. Would have been the greatest goal in match of the round history. Testing Suarez a tiny bit, but he was quick to react. Ball to Colborne being tested. And it will count as an accurate pass again. So well done by Marayong's ever-present number 6. Wasn't sure he was going to play this year because he has moved away and he's about 50-odd minutes, not including traffic, from the training ground. Owusu's done so well. He's just awesome to watch. Can't take the free kick from 30 yards from where it's meant to be taken. Rain seems to have cleared up a little bit. It's been very light since it started coming down. Scotty Jackson continues his run. Whalen involved. Enchi sends it out wide towards his captain. This could be big here. Scotty's got to be careful on a yellow, of course. Then someone was blocked off in the process there. Marayong free kick. Was it intentional or not is the question being asked in orange. Score only 1-0. Of course, speaking of other top-of-the-table teams that have played Tigers so far, Ponds, of course, were able to beat them, but it was by a 1-goal margin, although they did miss a pen. Great touch, Dante. Brand new signing this year. Gentle did well. Ooh, he tumbled quite awkwardly, but he's okay. No, he's maybe not okay. He's hurt himself there. He's going to hop back into position. They say there's nothing like a night game in football, especially at this level where they are a bit of a rarity. Let's see if it delivers something from this corner, though. Front post. Ooh, I think there was a touch there off of a Tigers jersey or a foot. You might say that is going to render another corner kick. But it was Mubarak Saeed at the front post who did get a flick on. Well defended, I think, by Braden Chapman. That's gone deep towards the back stick. Cleared away by Scotty Jackson. Giant throw-in about to come from Josh Ross. Back it goes to the throw-in taker. Ayman Abdul Rasul will instead take it off of him. High, looping, and dropping inside of play. Gentle missed it. Goes down under the challenge. Mubi Saeed across the face, blocked. Corner again. Marayong really putting pressure on the cusp of half-time. 2 minutes to go. Tigers must remain firm. If you're a betting man and this game heads into the sheds for the break at 2-0 to those in green, you could consider it over. Tigers must remain compact. Good ball in, cleared away though. And then struck on the volley. Bergen onto his own crossbar. So close, Haloka, to one of the goals of the season. Now here they come, Mats Verus. Suarez read it well, although he didn't. It'll be a Tigers throw. He's saying, I didn't touch it, sir. And in fact, he's right. He was just aura farming there, Dante Suarez. Flicked on by Mats Veru. Haloka, who nearly just scored one of the great goals in match of the round history. Mats Veru. Since debuting in the match of the round, Mats Veru, he's got married and him and his partner have had a kid. It's been all uphill since he made his match of the round debut, which is the kind of impetus you need to become a Blacktown Premier League footballer next season. Sign up to one of our clubs and turn your life around. false advertising. Not at all a foul throw by Scott Jackson. Also a bit to the States, as Blessing Matsveru. Could be a good tussle watching here. Owusu still very strong. Enchi threatening, still Enchi threatening. Corner is the claim. Goal kick is the verdict. Right, we are now into added on time. Anything that's happening here is at the discretion of the referee. The game 1-0 thanks to Paddy Haloka brilliantly finding Michael Osei Adamako. Out wide to the free, flying fullback. That is Josh Ross. Samatua. Mamush Aguer still recovering from surgery that he's needed for more than 2 years. And Wal Reese also facing injury this season. So Samatua has been preferred as a week in, week out first grader. I think he'd rather play reserve grade these days, but he doesn't mind stepping up when called upon by his best mate, Kevy Guerrero. Tigers with one last roll of the dice, perhaps from this dead ball inside their own half, to try and win back parity before we head to the sheds. Chapman clips it across the face of goal. Here comes Ayman Abdul Rasul. Grimer towards his captain. Nearly 20 years his senior. Taken off him. Colborne has 1 goal in his last 5 years. Might have had a handball in there. Might be wise to slow him down. Picked up 16 yellow cards in that time too. Chapman with a spring in his step and an unnecessary shot from distance. That's the sign of a team struggling to create real chances. And that will do it. 2 minutes beyond the 45 is enough for Mario Tedone to say that we are going to the sheds as the rain keeps coming down here at Blacktown Football Park. The score, thanks to, of course, Michael Osei Adomako, is 1-0 the way of the Marayong. Don't go anywhere. There might be some surprise guests when we return from halftime, but I can't promise you anything just yet. But right now, into the sheds, 1-0 Marayong. Second half here at Blacktown Football Park. Just a couple of moments from restarting as both Marayong and Tigers make their way back out onto the pitch. But the promise has been kept true. I'm joined by the King, Kelvin Afori, who's going to discuss a couple of things as we head into the second half. Firstly, thanks for joining me, my friend. Tell us, why are you not playing here tonight?
I'm injured. So, yeah, last week came back from holiday and then tried to force it and played, and I did a bit of an injury. Shouldn't be too long, though. So, yeah.
6 from 6 to start the season, on course right now at 1-0 up to make that 7 from 7, a max of 21 points from 21 available. Been a pretty good start for you guys. Does it feel like you're playing your best football already?
I think in parts. I think definitely going forward and capitalising and being clinical, I think that's the good part. I think there's still things for us to work on as a team, especially a bit of chemistry, but I mean, that's why we're at the back end of the season. It's good to get, the momentum and confidence.
First half, pretty good?
Yeah, pretty good. I think we are pretty controlled and had the balance of the game. Just no goals, or not enough goals in my perspective, but hopefully they come early in the second half. Otherwise, they're in the game.
That's right. Michael up top, number 19, 2 match of the round goals from 2 appearances. Probably get another one in this half, knowing how he works. He's been pretty brilliant. One of the new signings this year. Is it easy to find a striker as good as him when you can pass as good as you do?
Yeah, man. He's making a lot of runs and always like he's used his body really well up at the front. I think it's definitely something that we need in our team because we want to score a lot of goals, and he's always there. So yeah, it's been a blessing so far.
Back next week? Question mark?
Well, we'll see, man. Got to work hard in the rehab.
Well, we know you do.
We'll see.
Excellent, my friend. Thank you very much. The second half is about to start now, but appreciate you making your way up here in the rain. We'll let you get out of here.
No problem. Thank you.
Second half now back kicking as Tigers will be running right to left across your screen. Marayong, who are in front, left to right across yours. Big thank you to Kelvin Afori, 2-time Player of the Year, making time for you here on this Saturday night. This is how you know the competition is at its best, when we have the star players willing to get involved in making the package happen. Thanks very much to the King, as that ball is sent dead, and a first throw-in of the day in this second half. He could voice a movie trailer, that guy. Now he's going to make his way around the entire pitch. Poor bugger. Kept him for too long. Samatua. Ross, who's now being coached by Kelvin, who's just probably in frame on camera. Dante Suarez being closed down by Blessings Matsveru. Pulling the shirt perhaps of Ethan Kerrick. Coming together again between those two. First 60 seconds of this second half has just flown on by already. Neither team yet to really put their foot on the ball for a long-standing period of time. It looks like there's going to be a free kick here for the Tigers. And launched forward. And sent away by Samatua. I believe there's been a change at half-time in the Tigers' back line, so a second change. I'll confirm to you the second I can confirm it. Yes, in fact, so in the number 5 jersey, Stephen Deeth makes his way from the bench into the action. 30 years old, this being his 9th year as a Quakers Hill Tiger. Him and his brother spent time as Quakers Hill Juniors back in the day, as Samatua steps in well and then past Jackson. And then here is good old Deeth. Been a match of the round favourite for a long, long time for his hard running and tenacity. Jackson and Mubarak Saeed has to be careful. He's been yellowed, of course. Has Scotty. So in taken towards Majias. So you can see the hesitant nature of him going into that challenge. Scotty's been forced to go central as Deeth comes across to rescue this one. Sent away by Scotty here to Majias. On his weaker left foot, you can see the technique not quite happening there for Enchi as an ambulance goes past. Free kick here for Marayong, taken by Ryan Baller Colborne. Brilliantly done. Matsveru. Pace. Burst of pace down the far side. Matsveru still square pass. Not on the same wavelength. Salkeld. Blacker now. Just goes back behind the halfway line to find here Stephen Deeth. Rob Deeth, the number 12 jersey, also on the bench tonight, the older of the two twins. By a couple of minutes, I've been told, as Osei, out of goal, sends that into the night sky. Grimer off the top of his head. Well won there by Deeth. There is Aaron Blacker. Great control off the chest and lumped forward. In fact, forgive me, it was Riley Salkeld again, who has in the last couple of years put on some real size. Clearly gets his protein in, does Riley Salkeld. Just past Jackson's outstretched weaker foot. Osei Adomako. Suarez. Brilliant footwork. Brilliant footwork. And then he gave it away. Chance here. Enchi. Back pass. Majias. Real chance for the Tigers. Ball in behind. Whalen across the face. Osei was there off the line on the top of the net. Wow, what a moment. They talked on the podcast in midweek of having moments in this match of the round. They had one and it's gone astray. How big could this be? Not just in the course of this game, but for the course of their entire season. Well won there by Riley Salkeld. Majias, more of the 21's crop combining there. Taken away by Haloka. And now it's a foot race. This will be great to watch. Osei Adomako cuts back. He's got 3 orange shirts around him. He's somehow still got the ball. Now Tigers' defensive line a bit more straight. Brilliant work by Marayong, who are somehow outnumbering their oppressors. What a move it was, as that's been sent towards Wanderers' 5s. Well, not the first corner they've had in the game. The first of the second half, though. The live ladder keeps Marayong on top of things here in Blacktown. But will they be able to see out this game? Tigers just had the best chance, not just of the second half, but of the last probably half an hour, if you include the first. Ball delivered in towards the back stick, and it was won there by Owusu, and away it was sent off of his forehead. 51 minutes played. A couple of the Tigers boys going for a jog. I can see Kieran O'Hanlon. I can see Rob Deeth. I can see Manjot Patal, a one-time match of the round goal scorer for the old Minchinbury Jets, where that was up against Glenwood. Scotty Jackson loses the ball, but will take this throw when it comes back to him. Under sixes coach at Tigers since the early turn of the decade. I should say now the under sixes coach. So there were 5s before that. Speaking of Scotty, commanding the back line to set up for this dead ball delivered in by Josh Ross. A little under-hit there. Whalen forward, he comes off of his head, then he heads it again, and Tigers are trying to counter-attack their way back into this game. But they've got to be careful because they're about to be counter-attacked themselves. Ayman Abdul Rasul sends this out wide. A match of the round frequenter when it comes to the goals and assists. Across the face of goal, tipped wide by Bergen. Looked like it was always kind of going wide, but was forced into making a save. Felt like he wasn't being backed up, perhaps. Bordering on 10 corners now for the Marayong boys. Bit of delay to this one. Almost 10 minutes into the second half now. Corner delivered in. Dangerous ball. Not sure who got the last touch. Well, it's going to be called a goal kick, meaning that it was off of a green jersey, meaning that it's a chance that's gone begging as Marayong look for another goal. They've scored 20 goals so far heading into this match. They've now bumped that to 21, so it would be 21 goals for 21 points, meaning they average 3 goals a game. Tonight, just the one. They are the highest scorers in Match of the Round history. That average goes even more out of this world when you talk about goals per game ratio. Inside here towards Ethan Kerrick, who's got afterburners to put on. Ethan Kerrick still. Ethan Kerrick still. Mubi Saeed should be beaten to it here by Deeth. Off of the pitch, Tim Gentle couldn't quite come out of the blocks in the second half, it seemed, at his freshest, and unfortunately he comes off. He's got 4 kids and another one due next week, so you want to be fit and firing. Well, when you run out of fingers on one hand to count how many kids you got to take precautions when you got the next one due next week. Unreal. Dante Suarez being closed down by Elvis Enchi. We want to see more of the brilliant number 30 for Tigers. So a bit of a delay here because Matt Spurrier is getting a little talking to. He's saying, oh, it wasn't me. Nothing to worry about, sir. And sent forward. And won by Jackson. And then won by Colborne. And then under control now by Sal Keld. And now Blacker sitting a bit higher up the pitch, it seems. And now it's a foot race. Owusu's been beaten in the foot race. For a second, it looked like he was behind. And it will be a corner for the Tigers. Well, this is a first. What a bit of pace was shown there. Wow. I think that's Whalen who will deliver this one. Plenty of tall boys in the box there. Scott Jackson is one of them, and it was dropped initially by Oscar Osei, and then he claimed it the second time of asking. And now he's going to punch that one forward, but it's come out of his hands wrong there. Well, one there in the air by Stephen Deeth. Infield pass. Mitch McLennan would have enjoyed that one. But he's not here anymore. As look at Whalen going across to put the pressure on. Handball was the claim, not given. Enchi back to goal all game. Can't buy a ball in behind. Not the way to use him. Zaid. Brilliant by the 3-time African Cup winner. brilliantly done here by Majias. Halaka's read it really well. One of the fittest blokes in the comp. Back on the ball here is Patrick Halaka. Oh, brilliant use of the body there by Osei Adomako. Fouled. Oh, and concern here for Michael. A real loud yelp came out there. And Black is going to now, off the back of that, receive a yellow perhaps. Or in fact, was it Deeth? I didn't think it was. I thought it was Aaron Blacker. Not the first time I've got his. His appearances mixed up. Well, neither of those two were cautioned anyway. Short and sweet. Suarez into Matsveru, wins a throw. Handball. Not going to be given. Oh, now it'll be given. Samatua won't like that one. Wow, communication official Real Madrid have signed Dean Huijsen. Unreal moment in international football. He's not quite Dylan Owusu though. It's up here by Baller. Halaka. Square as he's closed down. Is that by Grimer out of defence? What's he doing up so high? Mubi Saeed. Closed down by Deeth. Under hit ball. Dealt with well by Sal Keld, who took a pirouette in the sky. Throw in for Tigers. Jackson into touch. Jackson intervened again. Cleared away by Braden Chapman. Well done there by Samatua. Reminder as well, don't forget to like the stream, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Does help us out, gets more eyes on it, of course. Lets us know that you're enjoying what you're seeing, hearing, and experiencing. Scotty Jackson, ball in hand. Captain armband on his bicep. Captained, of course, the Doonside champion of champions team back in 2017. Probably the greatest achievement of a captain in Blacktown Premier League of the last 20 years, and I don't say that lightly. Carrick, chance here for Marayong. Running laterally across. Oh, massive coming together there. Massive coming together there. Whalen has stayed down. Abdul Rasul got his touch wrong. Back to Bergen. Will send it away out for a throw. And now attention can come in here on the injured Scott Whalen. Might just have been winded, perhaps. Carrick is no slouch. Came in hard. Sunday action for you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Workers will take on Eastern Creek, and then again on a midweek match at 8 p.m. Jonas Bradley, they played on Thursday last week. They'll play on Wednesday next week. Ponds will take on Quakers Hill Juniors. What an unfortunate time to play a match. Saturday's action sees one of the biggest games of the year so far, as Doonside will host Marayong. Ponds will then also back up to play Eastern Creek again on Saturday. Tigers will go and host Workers in what could be a fun one. Polonia versus Riverston in the Red Derby. The Wayland's okay, a little dazed and confused, and Marayong will graciously and sportingly give the ball back. The game's still separated by just a single goal. Will that stay the same for the rest of it, or will Marayong extend it? Will Tigers find a way back into it? Either way, the fact that it's remained so competitive has been very enjoyable to watch. A bit of a lack of chances at either end. Really good work there by Braden Chapman. Scotty Jackson sends it forward. This is Ayman Abdul Rasul. In behind Jackson, Mubi Saeed threatening. Mubi still, header got there. Was he taken out? Looking for Kerrick. Osei Adomako is still there. He goes down. Free kick inside the D, attached to the 18-yard box. Marayong are asking for a penalty. Osei Adomako has been in the wars in this second half. Where to next off the bench for the trio of coaches, and quadruple if you call them and include Naji El Kazi as well, but for Robbie Benjamin, for Shia Alan Chakal, and for Kevi Guerrero. Where to off the bench? Not a lot of depth today. Their bench reads as such. Wal Reese on it, returning from injury. Nathan Mosquita is a former West Ham junior. Yes, you heard that correctly. Obviously, you've got the other Mats Veru boy, Kudak. You've got Ane, Michael Cody, who is currently resting that tight muscle he's got, and the reserve goalkeeper. So some great players, but the depth is not great because some of those players don't want to come back on, although Ane did score in the 3-0 win in reserve grade. So standing over this is Mubarak Saeed, who of course won the grand final with his brilliant breakaway goal against Ponds 2 years ago in the 92nd and 14th second. Ryan Baller Colborne scored 1 goal in his last 5 seasons. I can't imagine he'll take this one. Never scored in the match of the round, of course. So it will be Mubarak Saeed against a 5-man and very tall Wall and Jared Bergen in goal. It's Mubarak Saeed! The nonchalant king comes up with a critical goal in the title race. Blasted into the bottom, I should say top right-hand corner. And it looked like he didn't even have any backlift. Just a regular old Saturday for one of the best in the business. It's the second Marayong free kick goal scorer in as many match of the round games. They are the best set-piece team in the entire association, and no one comes close, especially with direct shots at goal. Whalen, as Tigers now try and launch something from 2-0 down. Jackson is there. Mubi Saeed was involved. Now Osei Adomako. Deeth has tripped over himself. Osei Adomako. Michael Osei Adomako. It should be turned home, and it is game over. Ayman Abdul Rasul picks up his 3rd consecutive match of the round goal contribution. An assist against Workers less than 2 weeks ago. And now tonight a goal, one from as far out as where you'd have to say he can't miss, but in the matter of 90 seconds, the game now over. Wow. What a passage of play that was. Tigers looked like coming forward and winning it. Deeth tripped. Osei forced a save. And a simple turn-in. Goal of the day still goes to Mubarak Saeed. But what a moment as they turn this game into a no contest with still 20 to go. Although, Elvis Enchi, Osei saved. Now they should turn it home. How has that ball stayed out? Some absolute brilliance on the line, but was there a Tigers player impeded illegally? That's the claim by Scott Jackson. How did this ball not go in? Was he hampered? Was he hindered on the line? Let's have a look back now. Owusu was beaten. Enchi strike off, saved by Osei's right foot. Oh my God, it's a penalty every day of the week. Whalen was kicked in the face. Whalen was kicked in the face. And it's not been seen. Intent or not, you can't do that. He is lucky it's not worse. So what is happening now? An indirect free kick on goal. What is going on? Well, it should be a penalty. It's a stonewall clear as day penalty. Obviously, I have the vantage point. For what reason we have an indirect free kick on the 6-yard box, I haven't a clue. But this has never been seen before in the match of the round. Every Marayong player on the goal line. Who will blast it in from Tigers? The score 3-0, but could this bring it back into a contest? Laid off. Blocked. Should be blocked and saved. Marayong survive. But it should have been a penalty. It should have been a penalty. Oh, and a massive coming together in the air. Deeth saying he won the ball. Kerrick went down in a heap. Deeth's about to be yellow carded. What on earth is going on? Well, the rules do state if there's a high foot in the box, but no contact is made, it's an indirect free kick. But the question needs to be asked, was there contact made in the box? Let's have a look back and give a final verdict. No, Owusu has made a huge amount of contact. It's the wrong call. Moving on, in a big moment in the match of the round. Tigers can feel aggrieved, but at the end of the day, they're still down by 3 goals. Owusu was a lucky boy, beaten by Enchi. And then beaten here as Michael Osei Adomako to seal the game off. Misses, spills his lines. Easy save by Bergen. Halaka. This game's got a bit of feeling in it now. Baller Colborne steps in. Enchi lays it square. Back to him by Blacker. Ross coming across to close him down. That's better by Enchi. You want to see him running at players. Nicholas Magias. Tight idea. Subs afoot for the Tigers boys. That looks like Kieran Patrick O'Hanlon, who scored in his last match of the round at this venue a hat-trick in a grand final against Oakville. Not the only person to score a hat-trick against Oakville in years gone by. The latest one coming today. In fact, it was a poker. Manjot Patal will also come onto the pitch in that 13 jersey. couple of boys preparing in green as well. Question is who will come off with 15 or so still to go. Mats Veru in towards Kieran O'Hanlon. Easy for Osei. We'll see it be a goal kick. Easy to feel aggrieved for decisions that go against you like that. First thing I would point you towards is the defending for the 3 goals. Tough pill to swallow. And there were 2 tough pills. Where to now for Tigers? Is there a way back into this game? They've thrown some bodies on. So it's a match of the round debut for a man who was in West Ham's junior system. Nathan Muskita comes on, of an Indonesian background, but with a British Pommy accent, you may say. Friends of Mervyn Chakal, and brought them into the system and makes his match of the round debut. Nice touch out of the sky by O'Hanlon. Marayong's number 9. Missed by Saeed, ball delivered in. Owusu dealt with it really well, all things considered. Up into the sky, Osei won't come for that. Scotty Jackson wanted to tee one up there. Deeth stepped in, took himself wide, now finds Manjot Patal. Looking a bit deep. Suarez does well, doesn't want to bite too hard. Inside the box now, Mats Veru. Mats Veru. Goal kick, ran out of space. Tigers having their longest spell of territory in the opposition half of the entire match. Lumped forward. Throw in for the Marayongs. Yeah, tough for referees to make every decision correct in a game. I cannot imagine, I should say, ever putting myself in a position to be a referee. I could never do it. And obviously that moment will be looked back on, and it will be dissected and discussed and all of the above, as I say, Adomiko doing his best to wiggle another chance. Ball delivered in again towards the front post, Bergen claims. But yes, a moment that will be talked about, whinged about, and some will turn a blind eye to it, depending on who you support. At the end of the day, though, one team has been better. And that cannot be denied. As Muskita had the ball taken off of him. Just over 10 minutes left to go in this one. Free kick for Marayong. Tigers not happy. Ball delivered again as Marayong looked for a fourth, cleared away, but I think it was Braden Chapman who hit the deck really awkwardly there. I thought he would have knocked himself out as Halaka. Crossbar again for the second time. Mubi Saeed is there, and Jackson clears now. Man, Mubi Saeed nearly had an opportunity to score another match of the round goal here tonight, but Haloka has hit the crossbar twice today. Away Jackson. Away Jackson. Away Chapman. Enchi running. Owusu won it. Baller with time. Beaten to it by Majias. Ooh, late yellow card. Not the first time Mubi Saeed's gone down and won a free kick, and also led to a yellow card for the opposition. That was late by Majias, and that one might have properly hurt Mubi, who stayed down now long after the free kick's been called. Yep, they're calling it the end of the night for Mubi. Such a shame. On comes the physio, been used a lot less than she was against Workers. Can't believe how many free kick takers Marayong have. They have Kelvin, who is first choice. They have Michael Cody, who appears the second choice, and Mubarak Saeed, who's also scored one in the match of the round. Kelvin Afori scored 3 free kicks in a game, has scored 3 free kicks in match of the rounds across the years. Mubi Saeed scored 1 tonight. Michael Cody scored 1 against Workers. They are just the team of records. What a period of time it is to be a Marayong fan or member at Premier League level. This looks like the end of the night for Mubi Saeed, though. Michael Cody, I think, will be brought on, or Ane. Yet to be seen. Barring a haircut, that looks like Ane to me. Mubi is officially off of the pitch, receiving some treatment as this ball's delivered in by Joshua Ross. Headed towards goal there by Mosquita. Lumped forward there, Majias. Enchi, strong runner with the ball, is beaten to it by the touchline. And away by Haloka. Mosquito was there, won by Grimer. Ball in behind. I think he's not going to beat the offside flag here. He even took a look at 2 occasions to see if he did. He knew the whole time. 9 minutes to go. Marayong 3, Tigers 0. And some may ask the question of who's on top of the ladder in first grade. Well, Ponds still have 2 games to catch up on after this weekend. Doonside are the ones who have the bye. And when Ponds play again and then have their catch-up, they could be right in amongst it. But of course, they have lost a game to Marayong, so they can win as many games as they like, but they will at least be 3 points behind. Marayong goes 7 from 7 here tonight. At the bottom of the table, though, right now, last place is Polonia in first grade. Polonia's reserve grade team is the better of the two, and that could come to help them as the season rolls on. But the goal difference is was -8 to -13. That won't change their positions on the first grade ladder here tonight, but it's more the club championship when you bring into factor, of course, the reserve grade, which would have Polonia on top, and it would have Tigers in last. And they will potentially, whoever finishes in that last place, play against the second place finishers from PL2 after the grand final series in a one-off knockout match that I think could be even bigger, more watched and more attended than any grand final we've ever had. Imagine that. 90 minutes to decide who will stay or join the Premier League, and it'll be after the grand finals. Can you imagine? Well, you don't have to, because it'll be coming around September. a playoff like they do in Germany. Abdul Rasul, the most recent goal scorer tonight. This ball bouncing in the air, playing Samba football, not on the beaches of Rio, but of the slate here at Blacktown Football Park. Ane beaten to it there by Sal Kell. Been all right tonight. Great bit of dribbling there. Enchi's running in behind. Past Wal Reese. Owusu comes to close him down. Enchi, good footwork. Enchi still squares it off to Kieran Patrick O'Hanlon. Scotty Jackson can deliver. Went for the pot shot. It'll come back to him though. One off of him. Poorly dealt with. Mosquita now. Got his pass wrong. A nothing ball, unfortunately. Look at this by Oscar Osei. This kid could play midfield. He is so fun to watch. Got this pass wrong though. Jackson. Good ball in. Flicked behind. O'Hanlon! Oh, scuffed it. Nice move. Didn't amount to anything, unfortunately. Marayong ball. 5 to go. Colborne away. The Bella Vista Hotel regular, of course. Match of the round tomorrow in the Women's Premier League does feature a Blacktown team. It features Ropes Crossing, who will play Rousseau Rams, and you'll have the opportunity on the Match of the Round canvas for the first time to meet the 14-year-old prodigy who's already scored 3 goals. Yes, the 14-year-old prodigy of Ropes who has already scored 3 goals. So tune in to tomorrow's 3 p.m. Match of the Round. Ropes Crossing, or you can go and watch it in Ropes Crossing. Matsveru. Lovely to keep that. Central ball. Lovely ball, Enchi receives. Square pass, Manjot Patel. Hasn't really featured all too much. This will come back to him though. Scott Jackson up in the fray. Needs to be careful. Aloka. Jackson's done really well. Has options either side. Now he makes his way into the box. Big bad Scotty Jackson's in there to head one in perhaps. Enchi needs to deliver this ball. O'Hanlon. And away. And away again, Abdul Rasul. Marayong get a foot on the ball. Deeth. Past Ane, chose not to cut off his legs. Deeth in towards the back stick. A chance here for Tigers. Majias into the hands of Osei. Just a mighty long kick, dealt with well by Chapman. Away by Suarez. 3 minutes to go. Well, at times, Tigers have shown glimpses of really, really good, positive stuff. I've liked the subs they've been able to make as well. It's a bit of a throwback to yesteryear as they win a corner here. This is a very, very different team to the one you and I have grown up being regular and familiar with in their PL2 and early PL1 days. It's very new look, A chance for a consolation, perhaps. Delivered in. Really good ball. Marayong's clean sheet is gone thanks to Elvis Enchi, who has tucked one home. He's been real good all night, and he finally got a chance to have a shot, and he took it. And Tigers will run this ball back to the halfway line. But how much time have they got? Enchi with his third of the season. Their leading points getter from the referee votes at the end of each game. Might get one as well today, perhaps his hard running and his goal. Picks up his third of the season and his second in a match of the round ever. One for St. Pat's and one for Tigers. In behind. Bit of a spring in the step of the Tigers here. Osei claims critical claim. Time is nearly 9 o'clock. Anea makeshift midfielder. And then the chance to restore a 3-goal cushion. Michael Osei Adomako does just that. Rolls in Marayong's fourth. It's another match of the round goal. And now he is officially the leading goal scorer in the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 1. Top of the table, top of Golden Boot. 9 in all comps. 8 in the league. Game, set, and match. It's the 8th goal they've conceded this season. Last year they conceded 13 in the 18 league matches. It was an unprecedented level of defensive efforts throughout the season. It's not been as structured and as good as last year, but another win, and they're scoring more goals, it seems. They're doing it without a lot of first-choice players too. Without their 2 first-choice centre-backs, without their star midfielder for a lot of minutes. We are already 90 seconds past the 90. Well, considering Tigers were able to claw a goal back, and when the game was at 3-0, when they had that penalty shout, how different could this game have been if they'd have had the time to pounce on their momentum? And the answer is it probably could have been very different. There's definitely a reality out there, an alternate universe, where they might have clawed their way back into this game, but not in this one. Ball in, Ross's header cleared away. Nico Majias. Limping is Ayman Abdul Rasul, who sends it away and now goes down. Not a good sign again. A couple of injuries have come in now for both sides. Cramping up, hopefully it's just that. 2 minutes past the 90, the result decided. Might just see the end of the game be pulled up early here. I think they'll just play the last couple of minutes, seconds even, with 10 men. Ayman Abdul Rasul has a goal to his name. He'll be pretty happy with his night. And with 10 men, they're on the attack here. Chapman, did he win the ball? He did, but he hurt himself. Another injury concern for Tigers. End of the game. It's been brought to an end. A 5-goal contest for the way of Marayong, won the way of Tigers. In a high-scoring and at times controversial second half, it was always looking like Marayong's, who down on troops, have done it once again. The game was broken open in the first half. The only goal of the first stanza by Michael Osei Adomako. Mubarak Saeed into the second half then scored another Stella Marayong free kick before Ayman Abdul Rasul nearly a couple of seconds later made it a 3-goal cushion. The game was brought back into contention perhaps to those who are positive, non-pessimists, optimists if you want to call them that, to make it 3-1 before then almost once again straight off kickoff. Michael Osei Adomako got the first and the last of the night. It leaves Marayong on top. It puts Tigers in first grade, second from the bottom, equal with Polonia, but ahead of the Rams on goal difference. Marayong versus Doonside next week is going to be a showstopper. Make sure you're there for the match of the round tomorrow to support the Ropes Crossing girls as they take on Hills opposition. My name is Mark DePoli. Thank you for tuning in. Congratulations to the winner. Let's see how Tigers can recover, though. It's going to be a great run into the season as we approach the halfway point. So much action and drama and goals still to come. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the FA Cup tonight. Go Crystal Palace. See you later.